Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the MetaNerd channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. Following the card support for DBT02, we are gonna go through Orphis for this video to see how his playstyle changes from a mindless beatdown deck to a more technical beatdown deck. First off, we have Whirlpool Robo Ramdrought. He has one skill, Continuous Rearguard Circle. If you have set order in your order zone, this unit gets intercept. He does encourage an early aggression because you can just always just call it down and then just attack. And since he does have intercept, it's never a loss to actually rush your opponent if you do decide to run this card in your Orphis deck. He tends to fall off in value in the later game because you might have a lot of other better units in the game. However, if you do not really have any units, you can just call this down and boost this unit with a token unit, which will hit 23 or 33 depending if you personal right or not, and still get great results. Overall, quite nice, but not very needed, at least for budget player. Yeah, you can run this. Next up, we have the new World Order. This card, aesthetically, it looks almost the same as the other one World Order, the one that has a moon on it. You pay 1 counterblast to play this card. When this card is put into order zone, call a Shadow Army token to Rearguard Circle. Of course, the Shadow Army token is those units with 15k power, a token unit. And of course, you have your standard order zone, your world becomes Dark World, as well as Abyssal Dark World skill. So of course, this is the offensive support for Orphis, because up until now, before DBT02, Orphis is only able to generate tokens when you ride into Orphis. Finally, we got this card that actually allows you to call a token in the early game, which is both dangerous as well as very good for Orphis, that is. Not so much for you as an opponent. He can help generate token for some early aggression, and as well as there are some units that actually utilizes the Shadow Army tokens for more utility. For example, retire or draw, or as well as countercharge, which is actually very nice, which makes the whole Orphis decks go from being a brainless beatdown to a more technical beatdown deck, which is a very significant jump in terms of your piloting skills. Next, of course, we have the R, a cybernetic cobra. Cardinal Fang Marisma. His skill, auto. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 World Order. Choose up to 1 World card from among them. Reveal it and put it into your hand. And put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. It does increase your consistency in setting up your Abyssal Dark World, because as we all know, Orphis is able to get at least 1 World Order via the right deck skill. The second World Order will need to be either from RNG as well as any draw power that you can get. With this card, you're able to increase the consistency in getting those cards and therefore set up your Abyssal Dark World. What's more, this card also does filters out the deck to get all the World Order out, just so that you have an increased chance of getting triggers, as well as, most importantly, over trigger. This card is probably the must-have out of the whole support that Orphis received in DBT02. Next, we have Cardinal Noid Plastia. He has one skill, Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks while boosted by a Shadow Army token, hits, draw a card. So very easy skill, and I think this is one of your attacker, I would say. I put here a utility support is because of the draw. He himself is probably going to be a 28k to 38k depending on if you persona right or not, since you will always need the Shadow Army token to boost this unit, which is why it is most likely at 28k or 38k. And since this unit is a little reliant on Shadow Army token, and he's a grade 3, his skill is most likely going to be a vanilla until you have a army token at the back of this unit. The hand resources is nice, but then there are better alternatives, for example Jabaltail, because Cardinal Noid Plastia needs to hit in order to draw, but then Jabaltail is able to attack a whole column. These 2 cards is a little situational, because if your opponent does not call a full column, then Jabaltail is a little bit on the vanilla side. I mean, he just function as a normal rearguard, but since both of these does function on kind of a normal rearguard if their condition does not met, since both of these does not really gain power by themselves, neither of them are actually better than each other, but they function much better than each other in certain scenarios. Next, we have Cardinal Prima Artepo. I guess that's how you pronounce his name, her name. Auto, when this unit enters the Guardian Circle and your world is Dark Knight, you soul charge 1. If it's Abyssal Dark Knight, you soul charge 2. We have another utility support by gaining Mud Soul. I'm not really sure how this deck works because I don't think Orpheus uses a lot of soul other than the 2 old World Order. But speaking of World Order, sometimes you do need that 1 or 2 soul just in case you want to kind of like use either one of the order, either to draw 1 or retire 1. However, you have other cards that actually function much better because this card is basically a vanilla if you call her out and does next to nothing. And the problem I have with this card is if she does not really gain any shield. If she gains at least a 5k shield, she might see play, but at this moment I don't really see her being played. Next up, Cardinal Prima Ecolpa. Good God with all those names. Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit attack or boost and your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, retire a Shadow Army token and countercharge 1. Yeah, more utility support for Orpheus, which is why I call Orpheus at the moment a more technical beatdown deck than a brainless beatdown deck. Her skill can only be activated during your grade 3 turn if you're able to get the second World Order setup, because the only requirement that she has is for you to be in Abyssal Dark Knight, which you can only do so in the grade 3 turn, because most of your World Order is either grade 2 or grade 3. Countercharge is very nice and potentially can replace Boba Mine, but then Boba Mine does not have the restriction of you needing to be in Abyssal Dark Knight. However, the difference between this card and Boba Mine is Boba Mine has to go to soul in order to countercharge, whereas this card requires you to only retire a Shadow Army token. So neither of them is actually better than the other. Well, except some niche situation where you didn't get your second World Order, which is very, very bad in itself. She also helps fund the cost for the new order, as well as Orpheus, which is the Counterblast 2 to call 3 tokens. She is actually very, very good, and the more countercharge you have is actually very good in getting your Shadow Army token out. Next up, we have the double R, Cardinal Noid Thumborino. Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit boosts a Shadow Army token, you may have this unit gets 15k power until the end of turn. If you do, at the end of that battle, retire all your rear guards in the same column as this unit and draw a card. So another utility support as well as a offensive support. I think I forgot to put that there. She can be a 38k or 48k column depending on if you persona right or not. What makes this card so good is that the moment you can set up a World Order and call a Shadow Army token, you can put her down and basically just have a 38k beat stick on your grade 2 turn. Which is insane, as most likely your opponent is not going to guard 38k unless he's willing to throw down a PG. I do not really see your opponent actually guarding this in the grade 2 turn. She retires herself as well as the token in exchange for a hand size, meaning you use 1 Counterblast to have a very, very big attacker and you draw 1. So it's nice, but then at the end of the day, it's still a 1-for-1 trade. Next is the triple R for Orpheus, Cardinal Draco Alviderd. I think that's how you pronounce the name. God help me. Continuous Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if your world is Dark Knight, this unit gets 2k power. If it is Abyssal Dark Knight instead, it gets 5k power. Second skill. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks, retire a Shadow Army token. Choose one of your opponent's rearguard and retire it. This is the second card that actually gets to retire. Well, actually, technically, it's the third card because DBT02 controls the board a little bit. Alviderd will be in either a 30k column or a 40k attacking column if you're in Abyssal Dark Knight, as well as if you do Persona right. He does gives control by retiring a potentially very valued rearguard from your opponent. I mean, you're exchanging a literal free unit for a retire. I mean, it's really, really good. Plus, he himself does not go away like Thumborino, which means that this unit can intercept as well. So yeah, very, very nice unit. A very worthy triple R in my mind. So I'm gonna go through the cost efficiency option that you have during the mid game, meaning your grade 2 turn. Provided you have that new order right there. You counterblast 1 to call a token out. For now, you basically have 2 options depending on the scenario that you're in. If your opponent do not kind of rush you and you just want to have like a normal attacking unit, you can always call Thumborino at the front of the Shadow Army token. She will be a 38k column because it's a grade 2 turn. You can't really have a persona right turn. She retires the token and herself to draw 1, which is very nice. So you are definitely confirmed to have 1 damage in if you use this combo. Alternatively, if your opponent do decided to rush you down, you can call out Alviderd. Now Alviderd, of course, he needs to be the attacking unit. So if you put the Shadow Army token at the back of Alviderd, you're gonna get a 27k column, which is quite decent because your opponent is at 10k. He needs to throw down a 20k shield just to guard this attack. So whichever combo that you choose, either Thumborino or Alviderd, you're basically almost gonna confirm a 1 card to the damage zone and possibly get something out of it, either a draw or a retire. You can only choose one of this combo to do because you only have 1 Shadow Army token at this point in time, because you can only play 1 World Order, and that World Order will only generate 1 Shadow Army token, which is still quite nice. And if you do drive check into a critical trigger, yeah, you get my point. Alternatively, in the late game, since you're able to get Orifice already, and Orifice does use 2 Counterblasts to generate 3 tokens, you're able to still use both of Thumborino's and as well as Alvidred's combo. But this time you don't have to choose, you can use both of them in that 1 turn, which with a much needed power creep. Thumborino's combo will be at 48k, which is very, very disgusting. And as well as Alviderd will be at 40k, since you are definitely be in Abyssal Dark Knight, so Alviderd will be getting the 5k instead of a 2k. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section on how do you like the support for Orifice. Personally, I adore and I fancy what Orifice support looks like, and this deck is becoming more and more interesting. But hey, that's just me. Do let me know what do you think about Orifice's support. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and remember to ring the bell notification icon just so that you don't miss any video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.